So let's start with a really big question. What do you think connects the air you're breathing right now, the device in your hands, and the stars way up in the night sky? Well, the answer is chemistry. It's the physical science that explains, all the stuff in the universe, and we're about to dive into what that really means.
I mean, really, think about it. It's one of the most basic questions we can ask. What is all of this? Everything around us, the ground, the air, even us. What are we all fundamentally made of? The answer itself is pretty simple, but boy, does it open up a world of complexity.
And that answer is matter. It's a simple idea, right? If you can weigh it and it takes up some amount of space, it's matter. That means everything, from a galaxy billions of light years away to the phone you might be holding right now, is all part of the same cosmic family. And the science that digs into all that matter? That's chemistry. Now, this definition looks a little formal, so let's break it down. Chemistry isn't just about what stuff is made of. That's the composition and structure part. It's also about how that stuff changes and transforms, the processes it undergoes, and how energy plays a role in all those changes. It's really the science of transformation. And this is just a perfect illustration of the incredible range that chemists work with. On the left, you've got a balance, a tool for measuring the mass of something you can actually hold. But on the right, that's an image from something called a scanning tunneling microscope, which lets us literally see the surface of DNA molecules. It's just amazing. Chemistry connects the world we see and touch with an invisible world of atoms.
So, as you can imagine, chemistry is a huge field. To make sense of it all, it's broken down into different specialties. I like to think of them as different lenses that scientists use to look at matter. We're going to check out the 6 main branches.
That's right, 6 different lenses. And each one gives us a unique perspective on the story of matter. Okay, here they are at a glance. You've got organic chemistry, which is all about carbon, then inorganic, which is, pretty much everything else. Physical chemistry looks at how matter and energy relate. Analytical chemistry figures out what's in stuff. Biochemistry is the chemistry of life itself. And theoretical chemistry uses computers to predict what's going to happen. Let's dig a little deeper into each one. First up, organic chemistry. This whole branch is about one element, carbon. Why? Because carbon is the backbone for pretty much every molecule inside living things. So this is the chemistry of things like plastics, fuels, and even the medicines we rely on. It's the chemistry of life's essential building blocks. So if organic chemistry is all about carbon, what's left? Well, inorganic chemistry covers everything else. This is the study of metals that build our skyscrapers, the silicon in our computer chips, and the salts dissolved in the ocean. It's the chemistry of the entire non-living world. Now, this is where things get really interesting, where 2 giant fields of science come together. Physical chemistry is basically the bridge between physics and chemistry. It doesn't just ask what happens in a chemical reaction, it asks why it happens. It digs into the fundamental rules of energy and matter that control every single chemical change. Next up, analytical chemistry. I kind of think of this as the detective branch of chemistry. Its whole job is to figure out what something is made of. So if you have an unknown substance, whether you're testing an athlete for performance-enhancing drugs or checking a river for pollutants, an analytical chemist can tell you not just what's in it, but exactly how much. Okay, so if organic chemistry studies the building blocks of life, biochemistry studies those blocks when they're in action. This is the chemistry that's happening inside of you right now. Things like metabolism, how your DNA replicates, and all the complex reactions that make amazing technologies like mRNA vaccines possible. And last but not least, theoretical chemistry. This is seriously cutting-edge stuff. Here, chemists use powerful computers and complex math to understand the deep principles behind chemical behavior. They can actually design and predict the properties of a brand new molecule on a computer way before anyone even steps foot in a lab to try and make it. Now, here's a really crucial point. These branches are not separate boxes. They overlap all the time. Think about it. Say you wanted to create a new, super efficient solar panel. A theoretical chemist might design a new material on a computer. Then an inorganic chemist would figure out how to actually make it. An analytical chemist would test it to make sure it's pure, and a physical chemist would measure how well it converts sunlight into energy. See, they all have to work together.
All right, that was a super quick tour of the main fields of chemistry. We're about to switch gears and talk about why scientists do this kind of research in the first place. But hey, if you're finding this useful, this is a great time to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming up. And seriously, if you have questions, drop them in the comments. Okay, so we've got a handle on what chemistry is, but now let's explore why it's done. What is it that drives a chemist to go into the lab every day? Well, it usually comes down to this journey from pure curiosity to real-world innovation. Exactly. It's one thing to have this amazing toolbox for understanding the world at a molecular level, but what's the point? What's the end goal? It turns out there are three main things that drive pretty much all scientific progress. So the motivation generally falls into one of these three connected areas. It all starts with basic research, which then opens the door for applied research, and that ultimately leads to technological development that ends up affecting all of our lives. Let's take a look at each one. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with basic research. This is science that's just driven by curiosity, the simple desire to know more. For instance, when scientists were first studying these amazing glowing proteins in jellyfish, they weren't trying to invent a product. They just thought it was cool and wanted to figure out how it worked. Then you get applied research. This is where scientists take that fundamental knowledge and say, okay, how can we use this to solve a problem? So other researchers realized that the basic knowledge about those glowing jellyfish proteins could be applied to tag and track specific molecules inside living cells, which was a huge problem in biology at the time. And that, finally, leads to technological development. This is where that applied knowledge gets turned into a tool that literally changes our world. Today, that technology that started with the glowing jellyfish is a standard tool in labs everywhere, helping scientists develop new drugs and understand diseases. It's a perfect example of the journey from curiosity to life-saving tech. So we've covered what chemistry is, its different branches, and what motivates chemists to do what they do. To wrap this all up, let's talk about why chemistry is so often called the central science. And this right here is the biggest takeaway. Everything, from a rock to a giant redwood tree to a star, is made of chemical structures. That fundamental truth puts chemistry right at the heart of all science. It's the essential bridge connecting the physical sciences, like physics, with the life sciences, like biology and medicine. Chemistry is never standing still. It's always evolving and shaping our world in ways we can't even imagine. So I'll leave you with this final thought. The next big breakthrough in medicine, in materials, for our environment, it's going to have chemistry at its core. What do you think it's going to be?